Welcome back to part two. Just kind of finishing this up, but YouTube was limiting me on how long the video was, so I just wanted to break it up a little shorter and make it a part two. Last we left off, we cut off some troops around La Rochelle. We'll pick up from there. This should go relatively quickly because I think we're more than half done with the game. Kind of retighten the noose around La Rochelle there. Some last remaining SS units, Panzer units. Use that strat movement to extend my right flank out almost all the way to Vichy. Capture Boulogne, which was either the V2 or the V1 site. Start moving my HQ units, make sure I stay in supply, which is a critical part of this game, which I really like versus Stalingrad. Or actually, I like the supply in Africa Corps, that you actually had supply units. But I like the idea that the Allies are constantly thinking about HQ units and having HQ units in ports and not extending your lines too fast or too far without thinking about it anyway. La Rochelle resistance is done. At this point, now it's large swaths of land that Patton's army and Montgomery's armies are moving across France. Troops are just outside Paris. More troops coming in. Normandy. HQ units moving up. Now that was an illegal move I never fixed up near Antwerp. Getting close to Antwerp. Sending troops back to England. The troops that were involved in, some of the troops involved in the La Rochelle siege are going back to refit, maybe come back to a different location. We're pressing on. The right flank is now pressing on. Right now, I'm just basically sealing off and fighting battles only I know that I can win, as the Germans are falling back as fast as they can towards the Siegfried line. We're at turn 15 now because I think Tim was looking for some replacement units to add, and that's when they start. The Axis starts getting 5 replacement units per turn, and they can only be conventional units. They cannot be static units. There they come on. So we're at week 15. All allied units in supply. Constantly got to be thinking about supply with the Allies, which is very historical. Can't just press on. Some issues they ran into around Market Garden and such anyway. Just watch Bridge Too Far all the way through. I'm just finishing up the book. So Allied on the move all the way basically to the Swiss border. About 9 divisions there holding up the right flank. Captured Antwerp this turn, which would be a week 16. 16 weeks into the invasion. Forces moving. Putting a lot of pressure on the Germans. Moving those HQ units up. Should be able to get it HQ units into Antwerp, which is a big deal because if anybody played this game, recall that each of those numbers here, basically, those are the numbers that how many divisions they can supply. So you have Antwerp here that can supply 23 divisions. It's based on how many HQs you have stacked. 1 HQ unit, you can go out 8 hexes. 2, you can go 16, and 3 HQ units can go out 24 hexes. So you have 3 HQ units in Antwerp. You can go out 23 hexes, or excuse me, 24 hexes and support 23 divisions. Right now, I just moved my last HQ unit into Cherbourg, which is my HQ anchor there. Now our HQ units are extending all the way to Calais, from Calais down to Cherbourg, no longer down in the Brittany Peninsula where the initial invasion took place. Germans falling back officially onto the Siegfried line for the first time. Sorry. pushing them back. Right flank staying strong, but not really fighting any battles, just pushing up as they fall back, taking the ground that they're giving. Sealing off those German defenders as they're kind of can't retreat fast enough, those static divisions. Again, trying to really fight only battles that I know that I can win, and just taking the ground that the Germans are giving, because at this point they're retreating so fast. I don't even need to fight battles to win at this point. So landing new units in Antwerp will allow me to push deeper and past the Rhine probably in the next turn or two. Just added HQ units to Antwerp and Dunkirk and Calais. Cherbourg moving up to Le Havre. Germans falling back again, bringing on more reinforcements, trying to defend the Rhine. Everybody's in supply thanks to Antwerp. More units coming into looks like Dunkirk and Antwerp. Push across into Germany for the first time. Making attacks on the Siegfried line for the first time. Armor's rolling. Getting stopped in some of those rough and mountain areas. And Amsterdam, Rotterdam, Dunkirk. All the places where supplies coming out of now. Antwerp, I think I said Antwerp. The critical one anyway. Nancy Falls. That's a biggie over here. Now it's wide open. Turn 19. Turn 20 should be middle of October, end of October. Now Bremen Falls, Emden Falls. We're across the Ruhr into the Ruhr River Valley. Siegfried line is fully penetrated on the north side. Division's just flying into Germany at this point. That was an illegal move. I correct there. I can't go strategic and adjacent in the same turn. So I had to correct 3 moves there. Yeah, there we go. Threatening the Rhine River near Switzerland. Wanted to put a guy in that near those replacement hexes. Moving up some of my last HQ units into Rotterdam. 2 attacks, automatic victory there. Exchange. And at this point, I had 15 divisions across the Rhine. I offered it up to Tim to end it there and just get to hold 10 or more divisions across the Rhine for 4 consecutive turns. And they're right now at this point, there's nothing the Germans are going to be able to do. So we ended up calling it. Really enjoy this game. It's a a good blend of some of the old Avalon Hill hex and counter sweep the board type games. But I love the aspect of supply in this game that you don't necessarily see with a Stalingrad. I really like Russian campaign as well. I do need to try Fortress Europa at some point. So I appreciate you guys watching. Hope you got a little bit of enjoyment out of it. Sometimes it's fun to see how these play out, to see how people's brains work. And that's always funny how you play this out. Saw Tim make some moves there, and you kind of, as you're making them, you kind of think to yourself, you know, oh, I think I can hold the line. I think I can hold the line. I think on the defense of this, you probably need to start the fighting withdrawal earlier than you think. And I think that's what he figured out. I just don't think he had enough units to make a fighting withdrawal at all. I think if he had done it that time when I pointed it out, I think it would have probably been a lot different story. Just because it would have been a lot bloodier once we got to about this area here where you have cities and rough hexes and this, I almost called it the Maginot line, Siegfried line there. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a good one.